traction on the beat?
I think for me, it's probably one is overcoming my own stubbornness, and that's kind of like letting the other person like have their imprint. And sometimes it's like you just want to do your own thing so much, but like you're in that room with that person because you want to let their ideas come through as well, and you have to like keep that 50-50. But sometimes it's hard to like find the balance, especially when you're like, that works, what you said doesn't, but I have to meet in the middle on this.
Yeah, you got to compromise a little bit. But sometimes you're like, no, this is the idea, like trust me with this.
But I mean, sometimes like Hayden said, you do have to put your foot down. And that's when the other person, either, well, if it's myself and Hayden's like, this is going to work, which has happened many times. You just have to roll with that and be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm here with this person who I respect as an artist, so I trust their opinion. So I have to just like relinquish control. I think control is my one.
Yeah, I think the balance is a tough one.
Yeah.
Like, do I put my foot down for the sake of the tune, or do I put my foot down because I'm just being stubborn?
Yeah.
And I want it to be like this.
Yeah.
Or do I relinquish all power and just let the other person have their way, but it might not make the tune as good?
Yeah. But you get so used to making music on your own, well, I do anyway, that the first idea that you comes to your head you normally roll with, and like in the collab you might put it down, they're like, nah, I don't know, and you're like, but that is the best idea. But it's just the first idea, so you just need to get all ideas on the table and just see how that comes out.
Oh, that's a really difficult one. I would say never be able to do a solo tune again, because collaborating is so fun sometimes. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're like, that was a waste of time. Or you get annoyed with, say if it's someone you're new collaborating with, and you kind of, sometimes you don't click with them as well, and you're like, maybe we just won't work for music again. But when you find people that you do click with and the sessions are fun, and it's like, you're not really thinking about the writing, just like, and it just happens. Then you pass on and it's like, oh, it's fun. And you leave a session, you're both like, hey. Sometimes solo tunes, you finish and you're like, that was great, and then you kind of like, I can't really share this.
Yeah, all you can do is share the song. That's it.
Yeah. And then someone's like, yeah, that's cool. And I was like, actually, I think most of my like fun memories for making music have been when I've been collaborating with someone.
Yeah.
Not you, but other people.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I think I'd choose the solo one. But I think that's because I'm a solo artist and you're in a collaboration. So
yeah, true.
I think like when I was in a duo, you live off that back and forth because that's all you know. That's you know, you're a duo for a reason.
Yeah.
And then since becoming a solo artist, I think I've like fully found my feet and the way that I work and the tempo and all of that, and it's just solely on me. Maybe the stubbornness comes back in from the first one.
Yeah.
I'm a nice producer to work with, honestly. I'm making myself out to be like the worst person in the studio.
Yeah.
I think, like I agree with what Hayden said, but I think I would choose solo just from the speed and the creativity that I can get out of working on my own. Collaboration, just because it's more fun, you know, it's starting something from nothing with a new person, whereas a remix can be fun, but you're kind of already just like, with a remix there's expectation, I think. In collaborating there's no expectation. It can be whatever you want it to be, but you're kind of you're bound by certain guidelines on a remix, I find.
Yeah.
They are fun and like, yeah, they're fun to play out and fun to write, but there's nothing like being in the studio with another person and like brimming with ideas and getting them down, having fun at the same time, and pretty much all the stuff that Hayden said on the last question, basically.
Yeah, I think I agree. There's sometimes a lot of pressure with a remix.
Yeah.
Label might be like, we've got this person to do a remix because we want this style of remix, and actually you might sit down with the stems and go, I don't want to do that sort of remix. I want to take it in a different direction. So there is this like preconception when you write a remix. You're always worrying about, like, not always, but sometimes worrying about the label and like what do they want because they've commissioned this remix or whatever. Whereas when you could sit down with someone, you just like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot more like open, like you said, less restricted.
Yeah, definitely.
I think so.
Thinking about going like down some real eclectic route, and then it just came to me, and it's Snoop Dogg and Justine. That's the ultimate collab that no one would have ever thought, but it's just done so well.
Yeah.
Wasn't there Snoop Dogg and John Lewis on the Christmas advert as well?
Was
it? Did he do one on that?
There was one last Christmas that was completely bonkers. I can't remember what it was. I don't think it was that.
Was it not a Snoop Dogg one?
There was a mad one. I can't remember what it was. But
for some reason the
first collaboration.
The first person I could. It's probably with lack of thought. The first crazy thing I was thinking Snoop Dogg and something because he's just like an icon and could somehow fit into any genre.
Yeah,
and
true.
somehow has made it onto a fast food delivery advert. So
yeah,
that'll do for now until I have more time to think about that.
I think mine's more of like who would I want to see. It would probably be like Barry White and
Just Eat.
Just Eat, yeah, there you go. Barry White and Just Eat. No, it'd probably be like Barry White and Burial. Put it that way.
Very interesting.
Burial White.
Burial White. Yeah, that's a winner right there.
Yeah, he's always got the pitch down vocals, so it could work.
Yeah.
Quickest for me was Sattel. Me and Adrian. Well, it started off with a track that we were trying to churn out. It took about 5 hours. Neither of us actually liked anything we'd done, and just pleased that he just basically was like, bro, this is fucking shit. And then he was like, yeah, this is pretty shit. And then he was like, let's start something new. And I think we made this whole arrangement in about 50 minutes, start to finish. And he even played it that night. They were playing at like Blue Mountain, I think it was. That was the quickest. Longest, I've got like loads, like years and years in the making that sometimes just sit on the hard drive and you don't. So I don't know about longest, but that's definitely quickest.
Yeah, quickest with Molecular. I was in Porto with him last September and we wrote a tune. I was actually working on it today, online with him today. And we probably got that done in about 2-3 hours. I had to get a flight that afternoon and we had some drums and we just bashed it out and it was like, cool, yeah, like Raph, you got to take me to the airport now and otherwise I'm missing. He's like, yeah. Still working on edits and we worked on it today to do a mix down and it's pretty much done. We didn't have to do much. We just put on like an extra 32 bars and that was it. Longest, also our tune, Special Ingredient.
That was quick.
We wrote that super
really quick. That was like a few hours.
Yeah. Also, Snake Surf didn't take that long.
No.
We did more sessions after to
the initial
get
idea
it finalised.
was like pretty rapid.
So I guess that part's not quick, but yeah, like
Special Ingredient
was pretty much done.
It was 2 sessions in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
then that was it, pre-master.
And it was like pre-master, post-master,
yeah. It's handy when you're the mastering engineer.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that was a quick one.
Yeah, longest, I don't know, probably the first tune we ever wrote.
Yeah.
When was that? COVID days?
Yeah.
Maybe before. It wasn't before COVID, was it?
It was about 3-4 years ago. It was before I had the studio.
Yeah.
In my old little sweatbox dungeon
yeah, that's
studio.
it, yeah.
And you were experiencing Bristol life for the first proper time. You're like,
yeah, that set me off.
Yeah, that's dungeon room.
The longest collab ever means a lot to me. More than you can know. I think there's a few things. You need to come prepared 100%. If you just turn up with like a hi-hat, then it's not going to do much work.
That's what I normally do.
Yeah, I think the second one, you just need to be willing to hear other people's ideas. And can I think of a third one? I think just being fun in the studio. I think the biggest reason why I like doing collaborations and why a lot of the collaborations that I do or have done in the last few years have been in person is because you just get on a vibe. And I think the biggest thing of making music is having fun. And even though we do this for a job, to go back to the early days of when you first made music and did it with your mates, it was just like, oh, look what I've done here and look what I've learned here. And whatever you made was fun.
Yeah.
It was always fun. So bottom line, the studio session needs to be fun, more importantly than creating something that could get released. It's like, we left an 8-hour session today, we made nothing, but did we have fun? Yeah. So I think that's bottom line for me.
Yeah, I think kind of goes back to what, like one of the first questions with this being stubborn and stuff. It's like you might put your foot down too much in a collaboration environment or collaborative environment, but actually at the end of that, you being too stubborn and too stern with certain things might just completely suck all the vibe out of the room. Might be like, well, I'm here to like James said, have fun, make tunes. I'm not here to like get too caught up on this like little thing, like, oh, is the snare pitched right? And then someone's like, no, we need to do this properly for the next 2 hours. Like, I think being fluid helps, and being able to kind of almost picture the track down the line so that you can sort some of the technical bits out later, but focus on the creative stuff in the moment and don't suck the vibe out of the room, of the fun out of the room. Sometimes it's too easy to be like, let me tune these hi-hats for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
And then the other person's there just like falling asleep, like, mate, this is absolutely dry.
If you're only going to be there for like 4 hours, don't get bogged down on all of this stuff. Just be creative with writing. Focus on writing, stay away from mixdown. I
think, like you said, listening to the other person as well, and even if it's something that you wouldn't normally do, allow it to just happen sometimes, because actually that might be the next thing that you go, oh my god, I'd never do that, and actually you might, that technique or that way that they did it might become so key to the song that then the next tune you make, you might be like, oh, I'm going to do that thing that the other artist did, that, you know, you might not have been like wanted them to do it. Yeah. Gives you your pride or something, and then you like take a step back, let them do it, and you're like, actually that was pretty crazy, I'm going to do that now. Every tune. Yeah,
well, that's where the skill sharing comes into it, and that's so important as well. Come back and be like, wow, this person, regardless of their skill level, anyone can teach you something, so just be open to it.
Kind of follows on from what we just said, I guess. It's switching up the session. I think what we do quite well when we work together is we normally start the session with a sound design session. So it'll be either, if we're in here, it'll be playing with the Summit and the analog heat, and just creating like a bit of a jam almost with pads and bass and everything like that. And then when you, I don't know, if you don't have any ideas or you're struggling for ideas, you can draw back to those jam sessions where it's just complete randomness. And actually that might be the key that you needed for the track. I think Special Ingredient, we did that for most of it. It was all just Lyra like jams and the peak, and then we were like, oh, we need this sound for this, and we're like, cool, let's just see what we've made in this 20-minute madness. I think that's the key for me, is having just like different material to draw from.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing, 100%. Like the most productive sessions are the ones where either you've done something like what Hayden mentioned, where you just jam around on the synths, or you know, if it's at your studio and you've got all the controls. Like, I've got loads of these different instrument racks where I could take people's samples and put them in there, and we mangle them, and so it's like, you know, someone else's sample pack, my processing, we both join to make these unique sounds for the session. It's very much like we've come together, and it's about, you know, just utilising those samples to make sure that we're both getting our sound across and both playing with each other's sounds and trying to, like, you know, just see what you can come up with. But yeah, I find like free play and just like that just adds a bit more fun to the session, especially if there's no direction at the start. It's like, let's just jam on the synths and see what happens, because that can just take you anywhere, can't it?
Yeah, it's a lot more fun than sitting on Serum and clicking a button.
Yeah, although sometimes that's quite fun.
So it's got to be done. Sometimes it's got to be done with Serum. But I mean, it's like sitting there for an hour and clicking your mouse and going, or just actually using my hands.
But it's funny because we'll do all those sample stuff, and then we'll get some drums and we're like, cool, I've got an idea, and then inevitably Serum will just get open and we're like, all right, let's do a bass line. It's like, you know when it's going to happen, and it's always like comical when Serum comes out. Yeah, you're like, what key are we in? It's some massive like saw wave coming through.
Welcome to the best day of your life.